Stories Podcast, your number one show for everything guitar.
Your number one show for everything. Oh, he sat down. Hello, Dan.
Hi.
Wow.
Last
week it was me. This week it's you.
That was just in time. Hello, everyone. Episode 47 of the Guitar Stories Podcast.
Yeah, I think we might have some audio issues on this, so we'll do one of those false beginnings where we'll say hello to the people that are live on YouTube, and we might start the show again for the audio people, because how's the audio live people? Because for me, Dan sounded like he'd just been going through a fuzz pedal. I don't know, something like the Animalizer from Tone Electronics.
What are the reactions? I can keep on talking, so you can give us some feedback.
Yeah, gain down, distorted Dan. So Dan needs to go down. I would say that's.
Can you
put
me down a little bit, because I'm not in the reds on my end.
Well, no matter what I do to your audio signal, it is distorted.
Is distorted.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, it sounds great. As a fuzz lover and distortion lover, I like it. But it sounds like you're recording some kind of Motown track.
Shit. Huh. What do you do?
Yeah. What do you do? Well, you probably turn the gain down on the mic. And
Let me try that.
Dan has lots of hoss as well.
Okay.
Lots of hoss from Dan. Hello, everybody. Hello to all my good friends, and also hello to Henning as well. Thanks for joining us from the... I'm going to turn Dan off for a second.
All right. Gain level is significantly lower. Is it any better now?
I don't know. Dan is too loud, Andy's too quiet. Yeah, we're aware of what's going on. We're just trying to fix it. Thank you for helping us with the stuff. How does that sound? Daniel, talk to us. How was your day?
Hello. Check 1, 2. Hi, everyone. I hope the signal is now better and no longer hissing. Is that the case, or are we still having an issue here?
For me, I would drop that gain down even more. even more. Yeah, I'd say we need about like 7.5 dBs less. As an audio professional, I'd say 7.5 should do us.
Yeah.
People are saying it's
level.
better, so therefore we should whatever you just did, do it a little bit more.
Even more? No, it's okay.
Valeria, try cuffing the mic. So there's some gain setting somewhere, or your mic is broken, but it's an SM58, and therefore breaking that microphone would be near impossible.
You know what we do with that stuff here, so.
That's true.
So, anyways.
Yeah, it's still
Are we good to
distorted
go?
like hell. No, it's horrible. It's like...
Shit.
Yeah. I mean, have you tried turning it off and on again and all that?
Yeah, sure.
Well, the hiss there's loads of people giving me tech advice. Thanks for all the tech advice, everybody. Thanks for the contradictory tech advice as well. There's a lot of hiss coming from you, Dan, meaning that there is too much gain coming from somewhere, and it is not at my end. Jervis is in the chat. Jerv, we need you on tech support. I mean, I can deal with it.
Yeah, obviously the others can.
Dan would sound better on 11. Increase the distance. Yeah, that's not the reason for people telling Dan to move away from the mic, because there's a lot of hiss coming from it. Dan was super prepared for today's show and sent me loads of stuff, and then he's kind of dropped it at the last second.
So let's try that again. Are we still having some hiss, or is it much better?
That's much better, but there's still hiss.
Huh. Can we live with that, or is it still horrible?
I mean, I can live with it. It just sounds like it's raining, but I don't know if people are going to...
Which is weird, because on my audio mixer, it doesn't give me any hiss, so it's got to be at some point, I don't know.
If I do this, and I mute you, it goes off. So, it's you.
Okay.
But it sounds like you're in a sort of tropical... If we want to imagine Dan's in a tropical rainforest... That's fine.
Surrounded by exotic plants and animals.
Jerv hears the sea. Patrick says it's soothing. soothing rainy sounds. In that case, everybody, you are welcome.
Yeah.
So
Not a bug, it's a
we're going to
t-shirt.
try that intro again, so we can get something recorded for the for the audio version of this. But now the balance of us is gone. In what sense? So, oh my goodness! Now I'm too loud. It's too. Andy's starting to lose his cool. Oh, is it that obvious? I tell you what, why don't we communicate via the method of you holding up Ibanez guitars, as Henning has suggested, and I'll try and guess from the type of guitar that you're holding what you're trying to add to the conversation.
Oh, you're so
Carl,
smart.
can I ask a question? Have you got that left mic turned on, maybe?
I don't think so.
And Patrick says it's not a big deal, so I'm good to go. Jerv's asking if there's a fan in the room. I'm not going to make the obvious joke there. Did anybody, or did everybody enjoy the intro song, by the way? I found that today, and I've been jamming to that all afternoon. And a little story, Dan. As I was jamming to that intro song, did you hear it, Dan?
Yeah.
As I was jamming to it, my glasses flew off my face, and they landed on my chair. And when I sat down on my chair, I broke them. So now I'm operating on about 50% arm. So, yeah, there is a chance. If my glasses end up like this, then let me know, because I've got astigmatism and things will look all funny.
I really wonder what's happening today. Like, what can go wrong goes wrong, right?
Yeah, well, it could be a lot worse. I mean, at least your camera's not potato quality. Hello to Joss Allen as well. Welcome to the chat. Today we're talking... Well, but let's do the intro again. Should we do the intro again so we got something for the podcast, the audio version?
Yeah, please.
All right.
That'll make cutting the whole show a breeze.
Yeah. Well, I want to hear that song again.
All right.
Let's do the 10-second pre-roll. Give everybody a little bit of intro. Here we go. Wait a minute. 10-second pre-roll.
9, 8, 7,
7. The difference is Dan. You can hear Dan and I. 4, 3, 2,
1, go.
go. This is what Dan and I do when you are not hearing it.
Guitar Stories Podcast, your #1 show for everything guitar.
Oh, hello. Welcome to the Guitar Stories Podcast. Hello to everybody in YouTube and online video world.
And also hello to everyone who's listening on the podcatcher of your choice. Hey, Andy. It's like I'm having
Hi.
a déjà vu. Is it episode 47?
47.5, the one in between, you know, when they try and make more money from the movies with that, like Matrix 1.5. You know, remember that?
Yeah.
The 2.5. Anyway, I never really saw it. Yeah, welcome everybody. We're talking today about guitar events or music events, and are they doomed or are they not?
Yeah.
We'll find
And
out.
I think we've got an episode packed with news, like music
got
industry
so much news.
with gear news.
An
Super
unbelievable
packed,
amount
right?
of news.
Yeah.
Welcome to the 52 people that are currently watching us, and thank you for joining us from my video that I did earlier, where I did a video on a kick-ass fuzz pedal called the Animalizer, and in the chat 3 people bought it. So I am super happy because this guy is a European builder, and I'm trying to really help the European pedal community. So I'm happy with that. But should we do some news, Dan?
Yeah, please.
Oh, let's go for it. News this week.
Woohoo.
I don't know what the news is, Dan, because you put this up, so I have no idea what's going on. Please inform us with your wonderful dulcet tones.
All right. I've titled that attention, or I've titled it Attention, Thoman. Because actually Algam and Woodbrass joined forces, and that's big news in the MI industry. And I think all of our French and yeah, let's say West European listeners and viewers, they will kind of agree that that's a big thing, because what happened is that kind of we've seen a merger of French distributor and manufacturer of like many different like genres of music instruments. Algam like joining forces with one of Europe's like largest retail shop or web shop basically, which is Woodbrass. So they are kindly forming now one of the big players in the European music industry. And yeah, that is actually big news, and it just has been announced publicly. I think the deal has been sealed already a couple of weeks ago in late June. But now you see the beautiful handshake of these two gentlemen. And yeah, that's got a big meaning, because now you've got like another big player that has like access not only B2B to a lot of brands that they are distributing on their end, but now Algam is also, you know, having a foot in the market. And I've got a couple numbers just to put it in perspective. Woodbrass was founded in 1999 and is, like I said, France's biggest retailer, online retailer for music gear, and like 90% of their sales accounted for the French market in 2017. So Algam is even getting stronger in this market. And have you heard of Algam before, Andy?
No, not until recently.
Not until recently? Okay, yeah.
I'm just checking to see how much has been announced, because you know, sometimes I know things that are going on behind the scenes, and then I say them, then I get in big trouble. So I'm not covering anything else that's not on that screen right now. So if you're listening to the audio version, exactly what Dan just said, there is no further information on the screen that you're missing. But no. Yeah, I'm just checking, you know, because I get a little... I like to not get loose-lipped.
Yeah. Michael is asking who's the second European player. I mean, it depends on how you put a perspective on. A big player is actually a music store, because they purchase DV 24/7. So that's definitely like a big player in the market. And then you've got like Gear for Music, Guitar. Those, but these are like mostly retail stores. They have no like distribution background. So yeah, I mean, it's always how you put it, and of course Thomann is the biggest player. But again, I would not underestimate what's going on there, because Algam, they are not just distributor for major brands like Ernie Ball, Music Man, Martin Guitars. In the Benelux, they carry Marshall amps, G&L guitars, but they also own brands. And for instance, Leg Guitars, the French guitar maker Leg.
Yeah,
is that something?
Yeah, I've played a few of their guitars.
Yeah. And they were actually quite nice guitars, and so they already know, what it means to be a manufacturer, and now they can even go B2C and dip their toes into like the end consumer market. It's
Right.
quite big news. And
so how big are they?
Yeah,
Let's compare them to the Big T. How big are they?
That's kind of hard to say. I think the announcement said that they are that their overall turnover kind of accounts for 200 millions. So I don't know, what is that, like 1/5, 1/6 of what T is doing? I don't know. We had to check the numbers. I mean, these are accessible publicly.
Sorry, as you know, I was at or if you don't know, if you're listening, I was at the guitar show in Italy last weekend with Henning and Jens, and there was a company there that there's a video coming from called Banana Music in Italy, and it was 4 music shops that became one company. And I think that seems to be not only a sensible move, but certainly something for the future, where smaller companies, in order to stay relevant and certainly stay in a point of power online, then they're joining together. And yeah, I've got a few chats coming up with them, and they were asking lots of questions about the online world and YouTube and what we do. So I'm expecting to hear from Banana Music in Italy a lot as well. Yeah. Well, great. I mean, competition is good for everybody. I truly believe that, for the consumer, for the people in the business, for the music instrument industry, and I'm excited to know what they're going to do. They're called Algam, right?
Algam, yeah.
Okay, so that's
So I don't know. I'm pretty sure that they will like keep Wood Brass and Algam as like business entities, so to say, because I think they're already split. I think Algam has 130, 150 employees, and Wood Brass they have like 70, 80 employees. So I don't think that's some sort of like merger where they just throw everything together and then kind of form a completely new business unit. But by them joining forces, I think that's still like a sensible move to do. And like you just said, that whole like consolidation in the market is kind of something where single mama papa stores, brick and mortar stores are kind of having a hard time when they try to survive. But once they form some sort of like business entity or they
partnership.
Yeah, some sort of partnership under like one umbrella. I think they
have just an umbrella corporation.
The umbrella corporation. There you go.
Just we had a major upgrade was on screen then. Fender buys Gibson, cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. I just happened to be wearing a Ghostbusters shirt, and I do understand the reference in a Captain America style. Right, we got lots of news this week. Do you mind if we move on to the next piece, which is whatever you put up next? Oh, there he is.
I don't know.
Who's that guy? Oh, he's so
beautiful.
beautiful.
I think it's one of those up and coming players. John Mayer. Hey.
John Mayer.
Now we talked about the Silver Sky, so let's not kid around. Actually, why I picked John Mayer was because I fell in love with an interview he did for Apple Music, and I think we shared a couple scenes and a couple quotes, and that was just every single piece of those like 30 minutes interview are interesting. They are enthusing. They are, I don't know, it's just something that I watch, and I'm a John Mayer fan for ages, like back in early 2000s, but I was never like the heavy fan, like my Andy Timmons fandom, for instance, or Steve Vai or stuff. So he was like an important part of modern guitar music, but
Absolutely,
I've never had an idea that he is so deep into the whole like philosophical approach, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, well, I remember when we were talking to Annie Clements, and she was talking about John and how much he just loves guitar, and that was super.
Yeah.
I know it's kind of obvious to say that, but it was really nice to hear that from a person that is only one person separated from the man himself, and really, God, I'm going to get in trouble for this. He's probably the biggest guitar hero at the moment in modern music. I mean, as in contemporary music as well. I'm not talking like we've got Kingfish and we've got all these other players and still Andy Timmons and still Steve Vai, but in the modern contemporary scene, he crosses over from the guitar world into the world that possibly my sister would and she's not into guitar music at all, so that's something we have in common, and he really is at the forefront of all this. So it's really cool to have heard. I did check out the interview, the Apple Music interview, and it was really, really nice to hear someone so passionate, so intelligent, and just so caring. Yeah. So thanks for sending that.
I think that's the major part. Like, who said that? He likes guitar, girls like him, but it's not that easy. He's not like the, almost as he kind of puts himself now with that whole sub rock and 80s Porsche driving thing. He's much more than that, and that was kind of interesting, and to me also kind of satisfying to see that the person behind the artist is not as flat as maybe some people might assume. I mean, we talked about stuff like, he said some stuff like, the music represents the life you don't have, or life you not have enough of. And this is something that is so deeply ingrained in music styles like the blues or even rock music that, it almost hurts how true that is.
Yeah, I mean, there's no new ways to say this, but sometimes someone can say it in a more poetic way, and that's such a simple way. And I'm honestly not a huge John Mayer fan. I just don't have the time to be a fan of anyone, really, so I kind of sit back on the things I used to love. And I'll be quite honest, I still haven't heard his new album. And that's sacrilege, I know, but also as a guitar player and someone who makes a living from guitar, I should have. But as far as I know, he doesn't use a big muff, so not missing out that much.
And Andy was cool enough to create a new hashtag for when dealing with John. So Andertons came up with the hashtag gay for mayor, and Andy created Gaia for Mayor.
So the Guitar Stories podcast is absolutely Gaia for Mayor because I think he's a beautiful man, and I'd happily spend a lot of time with him, cuddling and see what happens. You never know.
Oh wow. Well,
Anyhow,
recommendation. So check out that video when you get like 30 minutes to spare when you're driving in the car
Absolutely.
or when you're in the subway.
watch the video when you're driving in the car. Are you nuts?
Yeah, I mean you can listen to the audio track. That's how I do it. Come on. Yeah. If you're a girl or if you're Gaia for Mayor, then you probably prefer to watch it like on prime time,
I watched it. I
big
enjoyed
screen.
it. Right. News number 3. We got so much news. My goodness. Is this one? I wanted to talk about this, which is Gibson Guitar having their first female brand ambassador.
That's cool.
And I love to laugh at Gibson, but as do many. But I like the way that Gibson sort of came out with it and said, "Hey, guess what? No one's doing female ambassadors, so we've done one. We've got a girl playing guitar now. Other people haven't thought of this before." So yeah, finally Gibson are up to date. There are not just men that play guitars, apparently, according to Gibson. And I'm happy that it's Lizzie Hale because it's a natural progression. She's got a signature model. The Explorer that I haven't played the Gibson version, and I would love to have it. Have played the Epiphone. Wasn't good. Sorry. Anyway, I'm digging myself a hole, Dan. What do you think? Any thoughts on this? Chat, any thoughts?
I absolutely love this guitar that she's holding. That Explorer with the Firebird shape, like headstock shape. It's pretty rad. And from like going back from the obvious to like the more meaningful is that I really like that that she's now like on one level with Slash when it comes to like the recognition as a brand ambassador. I mean, she's obviously not as big and as much of an icon as Slash, but I think it's a strong signal from Gibson to kind of elevate her into that realm of guitar heroes. And I mean, she's done so much for rock music with Hailstorm. I mean, she's an icon.
Yeah, I mean, it's a small step, but it's a step in a positive direction, and it's one step, and you can't have a second step without having the first step. So I know I just kind of made a bit of fun of Gibson, but also, they've got to make this step, and I can't say I'm proud of them, but because that's a ridiculous thing to say, but I'm happy that they've done this, and I look forward to them very, very quickly announcing more, and just more ambassadors generally, regardless of their race, sex, beliefs, just generally. It's not all Slash.
Yep.
There are other guitar players. Yeah.
But there's a lot of Slash.
Oh my goodness. I seem to be on my soapbox again. How did I get up here? It's so high up here. Oh my goodness. I better climb down from this box with the word soap written on it. On to some next news before I get all soapy. Which is, I don't know what this one is. Oh yeah, statistics.
Oh boy, yeah, that's like the bad news. We always try to kind of focus on the good side of things, but I think it was some sort of like need to inform people and need to discuss that like shit's burning currently in Indonesia. So when you look at those numbers, it's just ridiculous what's going on there.
So
like
what
in
is
a
this on
very
screen,
bad way,
Dan, for the
because-
people listening to the audio version?
Yeah. Like you see a curve, the curve of the COVID-19 cases in Indonesia, and it has been like a steadily increasing curve. But across the last couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, it has skyrocketed. And as I think the crisis, they say, is worsening every day across all the cities and the Indonesian districts. And I've like one quote from the director at Project Hope in Indonesia, Eddie Rahmat. He said, the peak of the second COVID wave in Indonesia has not been reached yet. And the number of severe cases in Greater Jakarta, Bandung, Kudus, and other areas have been exceeding what the capacity of hospitals. So it's a crazy situation. It's horrible for all the people, and also will have some effect on our favorite hobby, because how many companies are producing guitars in Indonesia?
Sure. Well, SSG has a question on screen. He says, or she says, I don't know if SSG is male or female, but are you telling me I need to get any made in Indonesia guitars as soon as possible? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a knock-on effect. I mean, we're not. Please don't take this as us being negative. But there's being negative and there's being prepared. So, as a guitar player, as a buyer of guitars, and as a YouTuber as well, there's going to be a change.
Yeah.
At first, it's going to be a negative one because things are going to get scarce, but it might end up being positive. But at first, there's going to be some guitars and some parts and some even pickups and parts that are not going to be available for a while. So that could. Change always inspires more change. Maybe that's a good thing. We have to wait for it and find out. However, right now it's not looking good. But as Michael has just said, it explains a lot of these stock shortages in some stores. We're going to see a lot of that, Dan. Yep. I don't know how much you can comment, considering where you are right now, but
where I am or what I do. You got to be pretty honest that if we talk about do you want or should you get Indonesian-made guitars right now? If you're really in the market for one of these guitars, the answer is clearly yes, because what we are seeing, the shortages we're seeing at the moment, they are kind of based on bottlenecks in pickup production in the United States, or bottlenecks in hardware production, or even shortages and price increases in woods. But what's now going on is that the point of manufacturing is affected, and that will lead to back orders and production stops or production delays that will be much more significant than what we have experienced so far. Because imagine if they are affected that hard now at the moment, it will take time to recover for the people there. It will also take time to recover in the factories to get in full swing.
It
so
takes
that will
time.
definitely have. Sorry, say again.
It takes time. Sorry,
Yeah.
just to jump in on you, but I have people that I wish I had, people writing on my videos commenting, I've been waiting for 8 months for this, or I see them on Facebook, I'm still waiting for the guitar I ordered. I wish I had the time and energy to explain to these people that there's some bad stuff going on right now, and you getting your guitar is possibly not the most important thing in the world, dare I say it.
No.
However, I can understand how frustrating it must be. But I'm still amazed that that we're going as well as we are. So I hope things move. I hope maybe they find another place to build guitars. As a purely selfish guitarist choice.
Yeah.
I can do fretwork. I'm pretty good at that. Wiring, I'm not very.
We might have a job offer for you.
Great. I can't wire pickups. I can't do that thing. That sounds like RSI. So not interested in that. However,
maybe we can hire Colin for
that. My kids
that.
are about to go on holiday now, so they need something to do. They could bring some money in.
Oh wow, child labor, great.
Austrian child labor, not enough of it.
No, but going back to being serious, thoughts and prayers go out to those people. I hope that everyone in those factories. I've been there and visited a few of those. These factories, they are incredibly nice. They are extremely modern. And the people there are super kind, so I hope, fingers crossed, that they will get through that, and that nobody in that proximity that we have gets hurt and even dies from COVID. So yeah, guitars are not always the most important thing.
I'm smiling because I feel very positive about it. I feel very hopeful. So please don't misconstrue that as me being nonchalant. I'm using words that I don't understand in this podcast. Anyway, Jason Carter has a question. Why is his name on the screen with a green bar? Am I in trouble? No, Jason Carter, you are currently the stream boss because you gave us a super chat last week of €10, which makes you the boss of the chat. You currently have 1,700 points out of 2,000. Now, the only way to knock him off is to get other people to subscribe to the channel, but also to give a super chat.
Shameless plug.
Just a little shameless plug there, Boys got to eat. Oh, well, I broke my glasses. I need to afford a new pair tomorrow. That's going to set me back a pretty penny. So, we are going to talk about gear in this show, but as always, we've got some picks of the week. And as always, we're going to go with Dan's first. And it is kind of, we've already spoke about the man. Would you like to hear the, it's more than an intro song. It's like a theme song for the next generation.
It's so much more. It's like when I wake up, that's the song that plays in my head.
Do you do like dance?
Bring it on.
Breakfast of the day. All right.
Dance, pick up the weight. Dance, pick up the weight.
Oh wow!
Oh my goodness.
Is he Hale? No, it's not.
No.
Slash.
Tell us, Dan, why is the Slash collection is it the Epiphone collection, I should say, the Slash Epiphone collection, why is that on screen right now?
Yeah, because it has now been officially released. We've seen videos like popping out on YouTube like across the last 24 hours because it now has officially been revealed. I think we've seen some leakage material a couple weeks ago with some images from Instagram, and now they officially are available to the public. And I think they look pretty good. I mean, they are pretty decent, like budget versions of the big sisters from Gibson.
I agree.
And like I'm a sucker for the Vermilion Burst finish. I gotta admit, they are pretty nice.
The Million Burst, which is that one? Is that the gold top?
I think it's a red one, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, it's a strange name.
I think it's Vermilion Red, if I'm not wrong. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, guys.
Oh, you're saying
know better than I
Vermilion?
do.
Sorry, I thought you said million. Okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah, Vermilion. Yeah.
Right, I misunderstood.
So, like, if you switch to another image, you will see the Les Paul models.
1 second.
And
boom, there we go.
yeah, it's a pretty cool collection of 5 models, and you've got all the classic colors. You got Anaconda, the Anaconda Green. You got a Sunburst. You got, I think, what's the middle, like the T burst.
I don't know.
I'm blanking with Gibson colors.
It's called Orange Peel Delight. I'm not a big fan, Dan.
No? Of the guitars or of the artist?
Artist is a legend, and who's to argue with that? And also, my girlfriend's doing the vacuum cleaning while I specifically asked her not to do that and said I'd do it after the show. So all I can hear is Dan on the beach, and in the background I can hear, oh, something just went up the tube. That's probably a guitar pick. Anyway.
Oh boy.
So, no, I'm not a big fan of the Slash finishes in general.
Okay.
I guess I'm more classically, stuck in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like the Anaconda Burst.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it is as well. It's the uncovered pickups.
Okay.
Not
enough.
a big fan.
Yeah.
However, I bet they sound pretty decent. Are they going to have Gibson pickups in them?
Yep. And
What
I also
price
think
point we
like
looking
I think they are all $8.99, the Les Pauls. So I think
don't
they
know,
have
man,
not. No, I think it's not the Alnicos. I think it's the custom Probuckers they've put in there.
Okay, so the Epiphone Probuckers, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, a few years ago they had the Epiphone 60s outfit. I had one, and it had Gibson 57 and the 57 Classics and Classic Plus, and that was cheaper than what these are. So, and those pickups are my favorite Gibson pickups.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I just think. I don't know. I just think the Epiphone prices are going up. I hope the quality is good, but I don't know. More Izzy Hale, please. More Izzy Hale, more other players.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think we're a little bit oversaturated with Slash signature stuff. And what
We're
I find kind of hilarious is, is the
Satch
J45.
is an Ibanez artist.
Say again?
I said you said over. Hang on, this is gonna. It's always funnier when you have to explain a joke. You said oversaturated, but Satch is not a Gibson player, as we know. But Slash is, so you could have been overslashurated. And I said
I got it. Yeah. Great.
So I'm really working for this. I'm very highly distracted right now.
So am I. I can barely hear you because of any kind of signal interference or whatever it is. It's like Andy's signal is like 25% of what it usually is in my headphones, and there was no way. I tried every kind of plug and kind of reinstall stuff, but nah. So I gotta listen very carefully. Sorry if I'm talking over you, Andy, at some point.
No, I like it. It's more together. I think we've got a certain thing we were missing. I think this is the thing we should do next week as well. Okay, Pun Master Buzzle goes to Gibson needs to slash the prices of their guitars.
Ooh, nice one.
I like
Nice.
it. I mean, I'm up for a good pun anyway. But yeah, they will sell these, and I hope they're good. I get to try one at some point, I guess.
Yeah.
You've got 2 picks this week. I've only got 1, so we've got an even 3. Nice and even round number. Do you want to move to your next one?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
hang on, we've got another picture. The J45.
Yeah, that's what
the J45.
correct,
Sorry,
yeah.
Daniel.
No, all good. All solid wood construction. I think these are the even more interesting offerings.
Agreed.
Because we rarely have seen those kind of guitars with the specs at the $899 price realm. Sitka spruce top, 50s pickguard, Grover tuners, tusk nut. I think that's a pretty interesting deal in those kind of finishes. And I'm digging like the non-classical colors, like the red one. So that would definitely be an interesting pick, or just interesting guitar to try. But apart from that, again, it's like a regular J45 with some, visual tweaks, so it's not a big deal. So I'm pretty sure for some of the guys, this will go straight to the burn pile.
I'm a massive fan of the J45. It's one of my favorite guitars ever. But there are a lot of cheaper versions that look like them, but they don't sound like them. So I'm very interested to play this one. Again, I'm leaning more towards the classic Tobacco Sunburst than the red one. I don't know, dude. But I'm definitely more into these than I am into the Les Paul Epiphones.
Great. Slash chords only, yeah.
Yeah. A good
it.
question from Michael. Are these American-made Epiphones? I don't believe they are.
No, not at $899.
No.
I mean,
So,
you
but
got to
good
deduct
question.
you got to deduct the royalties from that $899. You got to deduct what the dealer is making. You got to deduct the shipping costs, and containers are super expensive now. I mean, no way that these are going to be made in the USA.
What do you reckon Slash is making per guitar?
I don't know what the deal is with Gibson. Usually like I can't really say. Every company has different like contracts, and I think with a legacy artist like Slash, you gotta have deep pockets when it comes as a brand. There are some companies,
Absolutely.
especially in the States, there are some companies that have the big artists on their payroll. I'm not naming any companies, or not like calling out anyone, but there are big companies that are like paying on a monthly basis artists just to be an artist.
I didn't know.
So,
Oh, we've got
Yeah.
Elisa has recently bought the Gibson-inspired Epiphone J45. It sounds great, and hers was made in Indonesia.
there you go.
I really want to play that. I want to play the 335 that Brian Wampler has. I want to try all these Epiphone guitars because things have changed. So yeah, generally speaking, nice pick, Dan. Nice pick. You want to move on?
Yeah.
Andy's pick of the week.
Goodness, that gets me fired up. It makes me want to go and vacuum clean the entire house.
Get your girlfriend on the chat.
I'm only that cocky because I know she can't hear me. Sorry. Oh, she's upstairs now. Anyway, more vacuum news later in the show, but for now, we've got a plug-in. Apart from like Amplitude, which we've used, we talked about a few times, and they sponsored the show. They're not sponsoring this one. Have we done a plug-in before as a pick?
Nope, I don't think so.
So this is Acoustic Voice from Nembrini, and which sounds like a sparkling wine. And what it does is hang on, let me get this right. It takes the Acoustic Voice software from Nembrini Audio, lets users access the following modelled acoustic guitars: a Martin, a Gibson, a Landola, a Guild, an Ayers, and a Taylor. And what that does is it takes your signal from your piezo. Let's get into an argument. Piezo? Piezo?
Piezo? Yeah.
The under saddle pickup, which normally sounds complete dog poo, and using IRs, it makes it sound like one of the guitars that I've just mentioned. Now, this is not a new thing. I've got an IR loader, like the Cab M, and I've got some IRs from a Martin D45. But this is a plug-in, and Dan and I have both watched the video, and it sounds great, doesn't it, Dan?
Yep.
Truly
That's
impressed.
pretty
So
good.
impressed, I reached out to them and said, I will make a video. Send me the plug-in, and that's happening.
And I was surprised to see that it's not even that expensive. How much was it?
It's currently on a special at €39.
Okay.
For until like the second week of August. Then I believe it's going up to 99.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
let me just search it while we're talking. I'm pretty darn sure it's 39. Product page. There we go. It is currently $39. Sorry, so less than €39. Then goes up to $99.
Oh wow. Okay, that's cool. So if you're in the market
So-
for a good, yeah.
Yeah, it just makes absolute sense because there's the actual interface just there. So it doesn't just have the IRs; it also has modulation, delay, reverb, and a compressor and a preamp. You can move the position and the distance of the mic of the IR, so you can get a sound closer to the strings or further away. You can change the mic as well. So I really think let me caveat this, if it sounds like it sounds in their demo, then that's going to be wonderful. I'm just putting the link in the chat because apparently Old Man Zen hasn't got Google. There we go. Sorry, a little bit salty there, Old Man Zen, but come on, I'm trying to run a show here.
Andy,
Yes, Dan.
I wonder, what would be a great idea?
What's that?
To take like a entry level guitar and kind of compare it with a guitar from your rig and kind of see how close you can get to that, like to that sample.
Are you doing a Henning and Ryan? A Hennon? Are you trying to take
No.
credit for my ideas?
No, not at all.
So what you're saying is I should take, I don't know, maybe this artist builder's edition Taylor 517 and put it against, I don't know, something affordable, like, I don't know, something
Like
I mean,
an
if only I knew
Ibanez?
someone, but what did you say, sorry?
I just said like an Ibanez PF15.
Ibanez PF15, which comes in at around, what, $200 ish?
Yep, 219
Yeah,
street.
that's ish.
So-
Yeah, so a €219 guitar plus plug-in versus the €3,000 guitar plus plug-in. How close are they going to be? Someone should make a video.
So, like, full disclosure, that was Andy's idea, and I love the idea. So I kind of like I pulled the last one that I could find, like a PF15, because they're currently
Thanks
sold
for
out
doing that.
widely. Yeah. So
I also have a
forward to
super
seeing the
cheap one
results.
which costs €60.
Oh, wow.
So I might put that in the mix as well, just in case in case it gets so super close, 200 versus 3,000.
Yeah.
I've got this cheap, no one ever heard of it. I think it was $60 or $70. So I really want to push this plug-in to the limits. How different can it be? If it works, it works, right?
Yeah. What's
All right,
what's Nembrini? Is that like an Italian company or?
I do know that there's a Mr. Nembrini because I'm emailing him.
Huh.
He also did they did the free Klon plugin that we did talk about once. You remember the Klon pedal plugin?
Huh.
Klon pedal plugin. That's fun to say. Klon pedal plugin. Hang on, I think the vacuum cleaner stopped. It has. Wonderful. Right. That should be the last of vacuum cleaner updates for this evening. Yeah, so I'm super interested about doing that video because that's a little bit of science and a little bit of fun and a genuine, do I need to spend $3,000 on a guitar if I'm just recording with it?
Yeah.
So there are other
I
things
think
to
that's a
take into
major point.
consideration, comfort and all that and stuff like that, and color, of course. But I'm
Of
coming
course.
from the Billy Corgan school of thought. I would like to buy some stuff, Dan. I'd like to borrow some stuff, and I sure as heck would like to burn some stuff.
Buy, borrow, or burn.
Sorry, Dan.
we got to roll it back because you actually kind of missed one of my picks.
Did I? You
Yep.
had 3 picks.
No, I just had like the Epiphones. What else did I have?
Oh, did you? Oh, hang on then. I got so excited about the vacuum cleaner news. Oh yeah! Oh my goodness! How did I miss this? My goodness!
Mamma mia!
Mamma mia! All right.
Reverend guitars.
Yes.
Reeves Gabriel's Dirt Bike Royale. This is like
Yes.
a guitar as if someone put you on the scratch board and kind of tell you to kind of spec out a guitar, right?
I mean, I don't think it's going to have a big old fat neck, but if it did, it could be the perfect guitar for me. It's got P90s. It's a beautiful red with a black scratch plate. It's got a lovely wraparound bridge, but with the adjustable G and B string. It's got the bass cut off and 2 volumes and a switch. It's flipping gorgeous, Dan.
Yep. I love the red, like the gorgeous kind of cherry red finish that provides that stark contrast with the black. And actually, what's so cool about the Reeves Gabriels is that the Mojotone pickups, the P90s in there, these are called the P90 quiet coils.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, if you need a little bit more powerful P90s, but you want to avoid the hiss and the hum, this is probably the way to go. So I really like that, because nobody likes 60 cycle hum.
Nobody. 0
Nobody.
people. Exactly 0
Yep.
people. Minus
Yep.
10 people like 60. Well, I like half of 60 cycle hum, to be fair. I like 30 cycle hum. Kranos just pointed out that it looks like a pointier Yamaha Revstar. It absolutely does.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah,
you got more
yeah.
pictures? Did you give me more pictures? You did.
Yeah, I
didn't
think
you?
I added at least one more picture. So
There it is. Oh, look at the
there
even
you
the
go.
advert is amazing. Red on red, and they've somehow managed to get this guitar to stand out, even though it's on a
Yep.
red background.
Yep. That is lovely. And what I really like about Reverend is that they kind of incorporate so many details. So that guitar is kind of based on a white limba, or how most of people refer to it as Corina. So Corina body, which is rather on the lightweight side, but still is a very pronounced tone. These are hand signed by Reeves. And you've got stuff like a synthetic bone nut, the original Wilkinson bridge. And they even included a treble bleed circuit. And this is something like if you haven't like added a treble bleed to your guitar, that's like a must modification because it adds so much to the overall tone, especially when you're a Strat player. And all those details, they come like ex factory already. And this is something that I totally adore because it shows how much like thought and how much enthusiasm went into that guitar.
Also, it's not the first Reeves Gabriel's guitar, so if anyone's wondering,
Yep.
it's an update of a model they did. There's one with a rail hammer, the rail hammer pickups. I don't know if the new one has a roasted maple neck, but the old one did, and that was available in like a black and then like an orange, satin orange flame maple and satin midnight black. I'm just googling it. It also had a trem system, so this is. It does look kind of Revstar, but also it's like his other one with a double cutaway. I truly dig it.
Yeah. You gotta love it. It's just, and I think the price point is around 1,000 euros, so it's rather on the affordable side of things. It's not like a 2 or 3K guitar, so that's pretty cool.
Sorry, what was the price? Totally wasn't listening then.
I think like around 1K, maybe 1,100 bucks.
That's
so
what I was
gotta
expecting.
See.
I was
Yeah.
reading the comments and there was a rather long one and I got lost halfway through it. So I am in talks with Ken at Reverend to get some Reverend on the channel, and I will truly email him again because we just keep missing each other. And also we're trying to get Ken and Greg Koch on the show. They've said yes. We're just trying to find the right date. It might have to wait till season 3. So I don't know if we mentioned, but we're taking a break very soon, aren't we, Dan? In August.
We need a break.
We need a break. I mean, I barely listen to Dan anymore these days.
We got to see other people.
Slightly on a tangent. Hang on. I saw a Friends episode today whilst I was having lunch that I'd never seen before. I thought I'd seen every Friends episode. Turns out there was one in season 7 I hadn't seen. Truly enjoyed that.
That is ridiculous. I watched
I know.
at 7 p.m. today. I watched the Friends episode too. I watched the episode where it's disclosed that Phoebe has a friend, like a gay friend, that she married to kind of get U.S. citizenship, but then it turns
Yeah.
out that gay friend is actually not gay.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
But what are the chances that we both watch a Friends episode today?
I think it might be Dan because we're friends.
Oh, smooth as butter.
I'm loving what Old Man Zen just wrote in the comments. Okay, can we please do buy, borrow, or burn so I can put Old Man Zen's comment on screen?
Of course.
Okay.
Buy, borrow, or burn.
Right. Old Man Zen says, buy the Reverend, borrow the acoustic plugin, and burn Andy's bad attitude. Hot diggity, he's right.
Boom.
I'm sorry, Old Man Zen. I just get annoyed when people, ask me questions that are easily Googleable. Googleable.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Why does my
also
signal look at like mashed potatoes again?
You look like mashed potatoes because it's probably my signal that's rubbish and it's affected probably by the vacuum cleaner. Okay. So, Old Man Zen, you can officially, drop your mic now. I apologize profusely. So, we had the Epiphones from Slash.
Mm-hmm.
Can I sort of put in a little change to the rules this week, Dan, that we could separate the electrics from the acoustics?
So we got 4 picks then? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So we got the Reeves
Okay.
Gabrel's dirt bike, what's it called? Dirt bike Royale. Then we've got the Epiphone Les Pauls, then the Epiphone J45s. Then we've got the Nembrini plug-in, the acoustic Eliza, whatever it's called. Okay. Dan,
You go first?
wanna, okay, yeah. I'll go first. I think you, Dan, are going to buy the Reverend.
Okay.
No, I've changed my mind. I'm going back. I'm backpedaling. You're going to buy the plug-in, you're going to borrow the Reverend, and you're going to burn the J45.
Oh, I think that's pretty good. That's pretty close. I'm still undecided whether to burn the J45 because I actually still like the color, but I don't like it's rather like ordinary. It's just different color. But yeah, I think you're right. I think you're spot on.
Really? I thought I was way off. I mean, I went down the wrong path, and I managed to turn around, come back, and go down the other path because the plug-in, for what it does, I think is amazing value at $39. $99, not so sure if I'm honest.
Yeah. I mean,
All right.
it really comes down to how good it sounds. I mean, if it does an amazing job, then it's even worth $100 because if you can put a 200
That's true.
euros or $200 guitar into the signal chain and it sounds like a $3,000 Taylor, come on.
Actually, you're absolutely right. I'm talking out of my afro. Let's look at the chat before we go to mine. Joshua would buy the Reverend, borrow the Epi Slash, nice, and burn the plug-in. Ouch. Oh, that kind of hurts me. He burnt my pick. I see. Old Man Zen's apologizing it. Fred Wolf is buying the plug-in, borrowing the Reverend, and burn the Gibsons with glee. Oh, whoa. At least it's just buying everything. So, just buy everything. Why not? Fergie in France, buy the Epi Slash LP, borrow Reverend, burn a plug-in, then sell the Reverend I borrowed and buy the Electro-Harmonic Softtek MiG 50 amp because it's cool. Okay, we didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
One more. Michael, buy the Reverend because it has Andy's colours. Thank you very much. Borrow the plug-in. Is this piracy? Quite possibly. And then burn the Epiphones just for the principle. These are the signatures the artist doesn't even play. That's very, very interesting point, Michael.
Huh. Good one.
Good one, yeah. All right. Any more interesting comments? From Poo Ninja. Let's have Poo Ninja. Slash burn, buy the Rev, borrow the plugin. See, I'm not sure you can really borrow plugins, so I don't think it works. But for the purpose of the game, yes. Dan, What do you think is the buy, borrow, or burn from my good self?
All right. You would. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but that you would buy the plugin at least for $39. You would borrow the Reverend because you're already in talks with them, and you would probably burn your wife's vacuum cleaner.
No, definitely not. I have to repair that thing weekly. It keeps falling apart, and I refuse to buy a new one. Just give me 2 hours to fix it. It's worth it. Sorry, no, I will not burn the vacuum cleaner.
All right, then you got to burn the Les Paul because it's just a plain like copy, and it's not even what the artist is playing, which was a great explanation.
Correct, I would. However, as we're separating the J45, I'd like to at least play that first. I'd really like to play that. I think that might be a great guitar, so that's out of the choices. But yes, I would buy. Although the line between buying the Reverend and buying the plugin is actually pretty slim, you know, because if the Reverend has a big neck, I just think it looks beautiful and probably sounds great as well. And I know it's going to be well built. So yeah, thanks very much. You did a wonderful job.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, everybody in the chat, we've made it through the gear section, and now we're making it to what I like to call the main topic, because it is the main topic.
All right.
Dan, I had to work with the thumbnail and title this YouTube stuff, but sorry, I've just read Valeria's comment. Can I borrow a hoodie? Sick burn. Sick burn. Hang on, you get a DJ horn. Sick burn. Wouldn't it be cheaper or quicker to actually get her to fly to Europe by now than actually send her an Ibanez hoodie? Oh.
At the moment, yep. Good point.
Anyway, so the topic of the week is guitar shows and music shows in general. Having just had NAMM, Summer NAMM in Nashville, and I've just been to the guitar show in Italy, and pointed out earlier was that Henning has a show coming up which fits under the umbrella of guitar events, but not guitar shows in the sense that the public are not invited. So the rather clickbaity title was Are Guitar Events Doomed? Are we doomed? And of course that's just pure clickbait and pure simple ways to write things, but I just want to discuss with you, Dan, the future of guitar events. Are they still relevant? Are they going to be declining? Are they going to be increasing? Any of this, and I open up people in the chat to bring in their comments, and Dan and I can discuss it, and we can, you know, put the world to right within the next sort of half an hour or so. It'd be a great thing.
Yeah. Actually, did you bring some images from the Italian show, because we've never really had a chance to kind of browse through these?
I absolutely can. Yeah, I mean you can do
Oh,
a bit of
that'll be
talking,
lovely.
and I can do that. Italy.
And just out of curiosity, are you already allowed to kind of shamelessly plug the Henning event? Is that like public knowledge?
Well, he wrote on my social medias that is his event doomed? Is his event a guitar show? Because his is not going anywhere. So yeah,
All right.
42 Gear Street
Okay.
Tree is happening, and it's happening
Woohoo.
at the end of August.
Yeah.
All things going to plan. You know, there's always that. You know, Henny might change his mind. No, things might go wrong, but I would hope that it all works out. Currently,
Yeah.
as it is, I'm going to Henning's for an ice cream.
And meet Henning's mom, Hiltrud.
I still haven't met Henning's mum, but you know who else I'm going to meet, Dan? I'm going to meet you.
Oh.
Can't wait.
And we
can't wait.
could do a Gear Street stream, right?
Absolutely. I'm hoping that we're going to do a show at Gear Street. I'm just dropping some
Yeah.
images in, by the way, if you're wondering what I'm looking at.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, I absolutely want to do especially... actually, we're on holiday, technically. We're not allowed.
Same here.
Can we bend the
You know, here's
rules?
the thing. I'm even like kind of slicing my holidays into two parts because of Henning's event, because it's actually like
Right.
school holidays and kindergarten holidays. So I'm leaving the kids at home, sneaking out of the house and driving to Henning's place just to be there, grabbing all the headless guitars and the iron labels and whatever I can find. Yeah.
Well, I look forward to it. It's going to be a great event. We've got some good people coming. And I can now definitely bring out some Italy stuff because I've just got the photos on there.
Cool.
Where are we going?
Are you providing the soundtrack again?
I
Title
haven't
track?
written a song yet. I feel a little pressure. I don't know whether to go dubstep or more sort of Jethro Tull. I do feel pressure.
Or maybe
but
go sub rock.
could go sub rock. We should let people in the chat choose the genre of music that I write. It was kind of Schlager, what we call Oompa band last year. But
Maybe you should do a survey in the group.
Oh, I can do a poll, can't I? Can we do a poll?
Yeah.
Hang on, I think I can do it. I'm trying to resize these photos while we're talking, but we're probably boring the
Okay,
heck
cool.
out of people on the audio version. So let's just put these photos up quickly, just so I can show them. I want to mainly focus on NAMM because of the turnout and what it looked like, but we can talk about the Italian guitar show because that's a show that's growing, so we can start positively. Let me just show you something from Italy. There we go.
What subtle foreshadowing.
Thank you. This is from Black Cat Devices. It's a pedal, and the reason it looks weird is because it is 3D printed.
Yeah.
So it's a 3D printed pedal. If I move that there, it's a Wolf Fuzz. I played it, but really couldn't hear it at the time. It was very loud at the event. The whole thing's 3D printed, except the circuit, of course, and the wiring. It's extremely light, and it's a fuzz. So I don't really want to focus too much on that pedal, but there's just something from the show. We've also got this guitar, which HRG guitars, that's apple wood on top of there, Dan. Apple wood. And then the pickup is underneath the top and screwed in from the back. So that was kind of a highlight.
That's great.
Then we've got these from Mastro Valvola pedals. I really like this Lem. It's in the top left-hand corner. Very Italian name. And then this. Look at this absolutely gorgeous piece of guitar. Isn't that one of the most beautiful things you've ever seen?
Is that what kind of wood is that?
Tree wood. I don't know.
The same wood the gondolas are made of.
Same wood the gondolas are made of. I don't know. I can't remember, but it sung. It absolutely sung, and that was the guitar that I was talking to you about. That was 1,600 euros.
Oh wow! Okay, so it's like it's a thin line telly copy, but in a very nice.
I do know.
Sunburst.
Barrel wood. Whatever barrels are made of. They're all made out of like barrels and reclaimed stuff from his grandmother's kitchen.
Oh wow! So I know. Isn't that oak?
Possibly.
Barrels?
I don't know. Grandma wood.
Grandma wood, nice. Yeah, it looks like it's been built in the 50s.
It was beautiful. It was a bit bright in the bridge position, but nothing the tone couldn't sort out. But that guy, Blackbeard Guitars, to give him a plug, that guy has a huge future if he plays his cards right. Dig it. Really, really dig it. So that was the Italian guitar show, and I've got a picture of some coffee somewhere. Hang on, just to prove that I was in Italy. There it is. There's the picture of coffee, 90 degrees rotated.
Oh wow!
That's
nice.
As I mentioned last week, that was the coffee that was run by some Japanese people. So truly authentic Italian. And there's rotated 90 degrees on the screen. A picture of the street I was in. Yeah, so good quality content, answering all your guitar needs, etc., etc.
Yeah. But like talking generally, you just already said that it's a show that's growing and that's kind of gaining in importance. So what do you think like the show will look like next year? Will it be similarly? Will it be much bigger? What was the location like? Like, is it comparable to any event you've attended so far?
Yes. It was kind of the same size as the show I went to in Birmingham in the UK back in 2020. 2019? 2020. Yes. 2020. And in the sense that when I walked in, it was almost disappointingly small. in the sense that when you go to NAMM and places like that, oh my goodness, this is overwhelming. There's so much. How am I going to get around it? This was. I wasn't disappointed. I was like, okay, that's a good size, not too big. I can cover everything or almost everything. But then you realise that when you get into the show, there's so much to see, and there are other rooms as well that were not visible from the main hall. So it was totally twice as big as I first expected.
Okay.
The show was in a bigger venue this year than it was the previous event, which was, I believe, 2019, because they skipped last year. So it's already bigger than it was the previous event. And next year, it's going to be bigger again. It's already, I don't want to say booked, but planned for certain. They've built the new venue, and Luca, the organizer, was very keen to say that it's growing, and also he was very keen to have Henning and I there to spread the word outside of Italy. What was very surprising is how different the world is, the guitar world in Italy. Truly surprised. Like the guitar I just showed you on screen, the Blackbeard guitars, he's selling them at a price that should not be for a man that puts that much work into an instrument, that many hours. But if he sells within Italy, he can't push that price up anymore. So one of the reasons Henning and I went there was to try and spread the word, and through the means of gondola reviews, we're doing it. So I have got many more videos coming from Italy. I haven't just done a half a gondola review. I saw some great stuff. I also saw, hang on, it's getting ready, the new Ibanez guitars. There we go.
Hey.
So there were some major brands there as well. Hoshino was there. There were some weird choices there as well, like T-shirts and things. People, and I don't know, some stuff that I didn't really gel with, just weird guitar almost related things, but I think next year they're going to be bigger, and they certainly deserve to, because the passion there is wonderful. I really enjoyed the show. Very hot though, very sweaty. My most important piece of gear I took with me was the towel that was hung on my tripod. Actually, that's probably why my glasses are broken.
So basically, your verdict is that show is definitely not doomed, and it's thriving. And next year we'll see it even in a bigger iteration with more brands attending, and maybe even more YouTubers coming.
We don't need any more YouTubers. Just one less would be fine, if I'm honest. But I want exclusivity. No, I truly believe the Italian guitar world deserves to be seen outside of Italy. That show, I'm not saying it's the only place, because I've only been to one, but that show is certainly an opportunity for that to happen. And it's in Italy, and Italy's amazing. It's a wonderful country. So, why not?
So, just like one last question about the show: is it always in Venice, or do the actual places where it takes happen, do they switch from year to year?
It was in Padua, which is 30 minutes from Venice. So it's pretty much Venice. If the hotel said near Venice. So,
right. Okay. But it will always be there also next year.
Next year, I saw the building. It's on the other side of the car park. The organizer said, "Look, there it is for next year," and it was considerably bigger, newer, more beautiful. Not that there was anything wrong with the existing hall, if I'm honest, but he seemed very pleased to have a new hall. I don't see why not. People were very enthusiastic. There were some amazing guitars. I would like to. There were some brands that did not go to that show because of the short notice of the setup. So there were 4 weeks when it was said, yes, we're going ahead to the event. And honestly, Dan, I really want to go back to Italy. So yeah, it's got to succeed. Absolutely got to succeed.
Yeah.
It was kind of similar to Guitar Summit. It was kind of that vibe, but just smaller than Guitar Summit. Next year, I would expect it to be almost as large as Guitar Summit was last time you and I met there.
Okay. And one of the main like perks of Guitar Summit is that they have a lot of artists and workshops and live concerts too. I've seen a couple images. Is that also like a big part of the show? It's more, or is it more like something like a side noise or white noise? Or
I think that this show is not a good example of what the show was, because getting an artist within 4 weeks notice can be quite difficult, of course. So there were some artists there. They were Italian artists, one of which I knew. Her name is, I've forgotten her name, Flavia. There we go, sorry. I met her in Berlin for another project once. That was nice to see her there. But it was very much an Italian show that they're trying to make more international. There was a stage outside. It was super loud, and not many people were watching because it was super hot. So I think that would need to be encouraged in the right way and cultured and, cultivated. That was certainly not the strongest part of the show, to be polite. But next year, if they make it bigger, I'd love to see more brands going there. There's a few distribution companies that were thinking of going and asked me should they go next year, and I can with confidence say absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, it's I know we're covering this a lot. I didn't really intend to go this deep, but yeah, that show deserves a lot of positive review, and also it's positive for the guitar community, because if I can say that about one show, then there must be more shows, right?
Yeah. I mean, I love the variability. I mean, I love Guitar Summit. It's actually scheduled for next year. NAMM show is scheduled for next year. Then the show in Italy. It's great because all those shows, they kind of live from where they take place. So Italy is a place of art and culture, and you've got all those small luthiers that have, those kind of meticulously built instruments with a lot of cool graphics and engravings and stuff like that. And then, when you move to Germany, it's more, like Teufel guitars, more industrial design, or more like classical design, like Nick Huber, Frank Hartung, those kind of luthiers. And it's got a different vibe, and same goes for NAMM shows. So it's cool to see, at least the European shows kind of coming back.
Sure.
Which leads us to what happened in the US, right?
Correct. So Summer NAMM has just happened in Nashville. I was not there. It did not stop me making a roundup video, so I did it. For me, of course, Summer NAMM is not the real NAMM. Is that fair to say, Dan? It's like a sort of, it's a halfway through the year NAMM. The real NAMM is the winter one. That's fair to say. And this Summer NAMM seemed to be, although there were some nice releases and some fun releases, and I'm sure people that attended the show had fun, it seemed quite sparse and very much at the Diet Coke of NAMM shows, or the Coke Zero, or I don't know, the Pepsi Max. How many more brands can I get in? The Almdudler Light of NAMM shows. What I'm trying to say is that I'm linking back to what about the shows being doomed. I don't think they are, but I really think that they should put their efforts into making an awesome winter NAMM, rather than, if they are spreading out the efforts, putting some effort into summer NAMM. Thoughts, please, Dan? What do you think?
I mean, I'm completely on the same page as you are. Like, Summer NAMM never really has felt, at least for me, like the real NAMM. But it's quite interesting to see that this hasn't always been the case. I think Summer NAMM in the 80s has been like the main part. And if I remember correctly, for instance, in 87, the original Gem guitar had been revealed in summer, at Summer NAMM.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't in Nashville at that time, so Nashville kind of, developed into Music City and is now like the epicenter of a lot of music and musical instrument companies. So it's like I said, it's the place to be. So just a logical consequence of NAMM show being there. But I think the importance of the Winter NAMM show kind of has developed over time because of the release schedules of most of the brands. And with us seeing that kind of paradigm shift of releases no longer being tied to just that one event because of the COVID situation, and also because of the internet and the power of YouTube, it kind of has, changed into a situation where the NAMM show is not necessarily needed in winter.
Oh, interesting.
But if I may just add, we shouldn't leave out like the psychological component for that, because it's always a big event of people mingling, of people meeting other artists, and also it takes place in winter. So if you have a chance as a music rep to kind of flee from -10, -20 degrees in winter and go to sunny California with 25 degrees centigrade and kind of relax in the sun and meet other people, meet your guitar heroes, join all those crazy shred shows and concerts prior, during, and after NAMM. It's kind of perk. For me, it always has felt like a bonus after a good year. Like you get to go to NAMM, you get to enjoy and meet people.
It's January.
We met there too.
Yeah. Well, we started the podcast. This show began on the plane to NAMM.
Yeah.
So our very first, was it -1 or episode 0 is on the NAMM plane. So if you haven't ever heard that, scroll down through your iTunes or wherever you hear it, because it's not video back then, back in the Stone Age. That's us chatting on a plane with an SM57 into a little recorder. And
the people around us sleeping.
Yeah.
And we're kind of going full circle with your girlfriend kind of vacuum cleaning. It kind of mimics the sound that.
This white noise. It's amazing. I do want to just touch on what you just mentioned about the psychological event, because Henning's also in the chat right now, but not because he's here. He's in there plugging his event, which he absolutely should be. The psychological impact of actually getting to spend time with my friend Henning was huge. And I met a new friend, Jens, and made more new friends at the show, as you said, the mingling and just talking to brands. As someone that does what I do with YouTube, meeting the people that pay me, meeting the actual people that I work with, makes a big difference to just an email or a phone call. And that's the same for brands that are just trying to create new ideas and not. I was going to say to keep the guitar world alive, but no, certainly that's not what I mean. That's too negative. I mean to further invigorate the energy levels into the guitar world and the music world. So it is a psychological thing that it's in January or whenever, just meeting people, or with the Italian guitar show, meeting people. I came away feeling I love sitting in my studio now making videos, which I have been doing since I came back from Italy, and I love what I do, and I'm, preface this with all, I feel very lucky, very privileged, blah, 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 I work very hard. However, sitting on a stool, talking to a camera all day does strange things to your mind, which is why I do the video premieres, because I get to chat with that. And also this show is one of the highlights of my week, because it's real, and I get to talk to you, Dan, and also to the people in the chat. So the psychological aspect of being in Italy, I think that was the most time I've ever spent with Henning, because we're at these events and we're off doing our own thing, I think I walked past Henning at NAMM a few times, and we jump in each other's videos because that's genuinely the only time we get to spend together as friends. So yeah, the psychological aspect and the fun element, putting the energy into it. I mean, music is fun. As you know, we say this all the time. Music is not a serious business. It should be entertainment. It should be singing around the campfire. That's it. There's all other elements to it, but ultimately music is emotion. And if you sit in a room all day in a basement making videos, you start to lack emotion. And the last thing I want is for that to creep into my videos, to creep into the honesty, Just a quick plug, there is a guitar show kind of thing happening with CGS in the UK on the weekend. So I'm not exactly sure what it's called, but we've got Steve from Boston in the chat, we've got Adam from Hot Pole Studios, we've got Henning, we've got Michiel. Maybe they can sort us out. But so the psychological aspect. Also for the people that attended the show, the punters, the public. You could see that they were just so excited to be around guitars again. Because we're proving it right now. Guitars and the hobby of playing guitars is not just sitting playing a guitar. It's an obsession, or it's all different levels. There's a spectrum, but it goes up to an obsession of whatever your obsession du jour is, like fuzz pedals, or having all the colors of Pia, or having 5 cheap Harley Bentons or whatever, you know.
Very fitting.
Yeah, it's an obsession that people have. There's so many little nooks and cliques and niches within the guitar niche, and to see all these people hanging out and genuinely enjoying being around it was wonderful, and I felt so energized. And I think for me, that's the most important part of a guitar show. So that's why I want Summer NAMM, if they're deciding that Summer NAMM is not so positive, then make sure that Winter NAMM happens. If you can do both, do both. But yeah,
I mean, if you look at the sheer numbers, it's kind of probably a misleading impression that you get, because I think after those 18 months hiatus that they had now with NAMM shows, I think they had more than 5,500 visitors and almost 300 companies that were exhibiting in Nashville, Tennessee. And if you compare that to 2019, the last Summer NAMM that happened, they had 500 exhibitors and more than 16,000 visitors.
wow.
So that's a big discrepancy. But, I mean, you had almost no international visitors, that's for sure. You had very limited amount of companies that were kind of willing and able to exhibit at that show, because you got to send goods, you got to have goods at that during that period. You got to have people that are vaccinated and willing to go. So it's like a big hassle, organizational hassle to kind of be ready to go to the show. And this is why I'm taking my hat off to all the companies that attended Italy. I think that was an intense time to kind of get everything ready for that show and kind of make it a success. And I mean, it takes some money and it takes some effort, for instance, to fly over the Q models, the new iron labels. That's stuff that's kind of still in containers. So they got to kind of organize samples or produce samples and ship that on time and everything. So yeah, I think still for what it is, Summer NAMM still has been successful. Definitely.
Absolutely. Sorry if I've given that vibe. Of course I have, because I was being a bit negative. But I'm glad it happened. My fear is that to spread something over 2 shows in the future, if I wouldn't want both to fail. That's what I'm trying to say. I would want one to be a major success at the expense of losing the other one. But something was coming in my head as you were talking. Go back to the Epiphone / guitars. Excuse me. The J45 was crushed or something en route to NAMM. So the acoustic J45 from Epiphone didn't make it to NAMM. It got severely damaged in transit.
Oh wow! Okay.
Or at least that's the story, because I'm not dumb. There could be another story. Maybe it wasn't finished. You know what I'm saying? Steve from Boston. Steve from Boston. Welcome, Steve. Firstly, I love you, and secondly, thank you for the information. Folks that bought 20 by 40 booths in prior years were buying 10 by 10, and a lot of brands just skipped it. Did you see Peavy's booth, Dan?
No.
Peavy's booth was a desk, a desk that was not attended, with a poster, a sort of A4 size poster on a desk stand with a QR code on it saying, check out our latest stuff.
Oh wow, that is kind of lazy, to be honest.
I don't know. Like it is lazy, but also at least they went, kind of,
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it.
I think that's like 4- or D-.
Yeah, D-.
in school. Yeah.
Must try harder.
They tried really hard, but kind of they passed, Yeah. But here's the thing, like
2 Nuts had a good booth. I noticed that they had lots of stuff going on there. That was encouraging. I'm just trying to think of other stuff that was there. The pedal that I did today. Hang on, I've got it here. I keep plugging it because I love it so much, and the guy needs to sell some more. This pedal was at the show, at the Delicious Audio booth, or it's the Stompbox exhibition. And what they do is, and this is a topic for another session, but they give builders the opportunity to be part of their booth by paying for a slot. and I have opinions on that, which we can talk about another time. But it meant that there were other brands small brands that were not able to be there under normal circumstances. So I think there could have been a space this year for some unknown brands to break through, and I think that's happened with a few things. I didn't get it in time for the announcement for my video, but since noticed a few smaller brands posting on Instagram, which is where I got my information, by the way. I didn't just Google what was good at NAMM, which I did, but I also searched out hashtags for NAMM, and I found a few things that were slightly under the radar and a few honorable mentions. But I know how hard it is to be at an event and handle your social media at the same time. So I think, I think there's a few brands that have not yet posted all their stuff. So I'll be looking out for that. Yeah. There was an interesting question in the chat just a moment ago.
From Fred?
Yeah. Yeah, did you pick up on it?
Yeah. He was asking, what
Got
about virtual shows?
Oh, no. In that case, Fred has two questions. Sorry.
Oh, yeah,
my bad. Do you want to do that one
first?
first?
No, what was that? That was also interesting.
Hang on. Do you think the success of guitar events going forward will depend on if live music makes a big resurgence? Dan? Yes or no?
No. No.
I also think
I don't think so. No.
As we mentioned, I understand the question. I understand if there's more live music, then maybe there's a need for more new innovative gear. But ultimately, to go back to the psychological aspect of what we spoke about, if people can't go to live music shows, then a guitar event is another way to exercise that hobby. So, actually, is that a yes in that case? Yes, it is. But I think it's a positive impact. I changed my mind.
Yeah. Can we kind of focus on the second question, because Fred was also asking what about virtual shows, and Henning already kind of stated his opinion that he thinks like virtual trade shows make no sense, and I don't want to be like one-sided, but I gotta second that to like 90%, because what we've seen so far from virtual shows, be it the guitar.com show or however it was called, and the virtual guitar summit, all that stuff, those were nice tries, but I think a lot of money was burned, and I think the result was not what people had expected.
I also concur. I think you and Henning I'll be even more passionate. They're a waste of money, those online shows. Not until we have the technology that you can walk it with and actually hold things or feel like you're holding things with haptic devices and interact with other people is a virtual show anything like the shadow of a real show. For example, to go back to that psychological aspect, and we've seen in the numbers of these live shows, again, nice try, but people weren't really that interested. I run a YouTube channel. I know exactly how hard it is to get people to stop what they're doing and to pay attention. And as I say that, we got a super chat from Cheddar Kung Pao. Hello, Dave. Thank you so much. Welcome to the show. That was wonderful timing. Amazing. It's hard to get people's attention. And the thing about a live show or a live gig is that you have to go there. You have to make the dedication, the commitment to go there. And a virtual show, you go, okay, I'm just going to eat my breakfast in my pants and watch this on my iPad, which is a slight insight into my personal life, but it's true. What did Cheddar Kung Pao say? Dave said that 1999 super chat. Oh my goodness, I can buy new glasses. Virtual trade shows are bad because you don't get to go to Denny's with Harry and Henning. I've never been to Denny's, and I've never been with Hanny? Yeah, I'm going to stay with that, with Hanny. But that does sound like fun. Yeah, so I forgot where we were. Oh yeah, the virtual shows. If I know that brands watch this, so if you're a brand, take my advice. Don't bother spending money on virtual shows. Do something independent. Support things like Henning's event, and I'm not saying that because Henning is or was here. Things that are actually making, even on small scales, very positive moves in the guitar world to make an impact, rather than again, like the sort of diet version of a show. It takes a lot and so much money. I mean, Dan, to talk about Ibanez for a second. Hang on. You must have spent a lot of money setting up that room you're in currently. You know, there's a lot of budget's gone into that with equipment and...
You mean this room I'm
this
sitting
room
in?
you're currently in. So I know it's not just for live events, but it's not cheap.
No, it's not cheap, but I mean, we figured that it makes sense to kind of have a fixed and dedicated room where you can just, sneak in and kind of start live streaming on Facebook or Instagram. So whenever we have artists here, as soon as they can travel and are willing to come to showroom, we just want to be able to go live and kind of record stuff without, having to either borrow equipment or kind of dig that out of some sort of hard case. So this is now, the place to be where you can just grab a guitar and we've got several amps and stuff like that. And that's what I just said. It's that kind of paradigm shift that companies have now kind of accepted and are also kind of following that route to go digital and not just like relying on third parties and only relying on YouTube as a platform with demo videos, but also kind of creating content themselves and kind of
absolutely
providing a platform for like local artists, providing a platform for the people behind the brands.
Well, it's expected
and
these
I think
days.
that's a big
and
point.
in the lockdown, a lot of people, a lot of brands contacted me and said, "How do you do YouTube stuff? How do you plug a camera into a computer?" And Dan and I have also had consulting chats when things aren't working, and maybe I know the answer. And the reason is that I got to my level of where I am with tech because I didn't know how to do it, and I had to ask someone, or I had to make the mistake. But and then learn from it. But there's a lot for a brand to invest a lot of money, and I'm not talking about Ibanez, and I'm talking about any brand that tried to do this during this past 18 months, to open up a YouTube channel or to embrace social media. You also need the people. It's not just the tech. You need the people. You need the person to run the camera. You need the person in front of the camera. You need the space, the lighting, the quiet place where no one's vacuum cleaning. Vacuum cleaner update. Vacuum cleaner sleeping. There's so much more to all this social media stuff and virtual events than putting a camera in front of somebody, someone in front of a camera.
Yeah. But on the other hand, I mean, with that epiphany for a lot of companies, that kind of leads us to our initial question: are events kind of doomed if brands come to the conclusion that rather spending several thousand euros on flying out their people to a trade show and setting up a booth for several thousand dollars, they can also do live reveals and live shows in their own video studios? Do you think it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy that like in the middle or long run those kind of events could become obsolete to some degree? Because you don't even have to stick to a schedule.
You know what my hope is, and my hope is that they don't, of course. So everything that I push towards is to push for it not to happen. I do not want the guitar events to go virtual. However, what I think might be positive for the world is to have these smaller events and more of them, so that NAMM being the big one, and I'm spitballing and not really thinking, it's just coming out. But wouldn't it be great if there was one in every city in the world, or every sort of region that was reachable by most people, so most people could attend a guitar show. So absolutely, brands should embrace the virtual world and do what you've done and make a little room and have these announcements that you can do on your own terms. But also, as we've discussed many times, the psychological event of actually being at an event of a potential customer or potential dealer or an artist holding an instrument, hearing an amp or a pedal, or just meeting the right person, I think it necessitates an event. This cannot be done virtually at this stage. Maybe in a few generations, or one generation, or my kids' generation, it's possible. But the thing about music, and particularly guitar players, is that we're so emotional. And I don't think you can get that emotion from a virtual experience at this stage.
Yeah, I hear you. The only kind of similarity I see is that with like 15 to 20 years ago, I still remember that quite vividly when I was talking to my guitar teacher back in the day. Everyone was telling me, nah, you can buy a guitar online. You got to try it out. You got to, test between several guitars. And especially in the high-end realm, there's no way that somebody would ever buy a guitar online. And then Hans Thomann and Sweetwater and all those guys came and kind of ruled the world. And nowadays, 10 grand limited edition guitars are being sold over the internet. And nobody's really, caring about, holding it or not. Because you got a 30-day return policy anyways. So there's very little risk involved. And if you don't like it, you order a second one or a third one.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've all been there and maybe done that or haven't done that. But, there's a lot of possibilities and some sort of change of the way of thinking, how people purchase instruments. And that's what leads me to kind of make that bold statement that it could become a self-fulfilling prophecy that nowadays NAMM, even after the crisis, kind of gets a last breath and another boost. But then all of a sudden, kind of after 1 or 2 years, when that first interest to again be on a trade show and that kind of enthusiasm of meeting those people kind of goes back to a level where they say, okay, it's business as usual, then people could think about numbers and brands could make up their mind about, why don't we use those $50,000, $100,000 that we are spending during that weekend for other activities, And that's the thought that I'm having in the back of my head.
Buzzle has an interesting question: is how is a trade show useful for consumers? I think that NAMM is now not a trade show any longer. It's not just a trade show. The public are invited. The one I went to in Italy, the public were invited. Firstly, it's an event, so it's not just I'm pretty lazy normally. I don't have a lazy life because I force myself to work. But if I had the opportunity, probably wouldn't leave 1 or 2 or 3 rooms of the house and probably wouldn't stand up very often because I'm naturally very lazy. And I think people, having seen social media like the Facebook, are you going to come to my gig? Yeah, I'm going. And then nobody turns up. Anyone can go to, when we're open again, when it's possible, anyone could go to any music shop at any point. But actually making an event of something, it's like date night. It's like whatever. It's like Christmas. We could give each other gifts whenever we wanted to. We could celebrate. We could put up a tree in the house anytime we wanted to. But when you make an event of something, it makes it special. And then there's this feeling that between the people that are attending, it is an event. That's my answer.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And also, just let me add that. I mean, some people already said how should I decide on what gear I'm buying, and I'm completely on with you that a trade show is not the ideal spot to kind of figure out how a guitar sounds like or what you can do with it. But when it just comes to get a broad overview of what options you got and kind of check out the haptics, like the neck width and the neck profile and stuff like that, I think you can get a pretty good overview. And for a lot of people, that ubiquity of product is just not there. So if you go to a trade show, everything is dense. So you got 20, 50 or 100 brands that all, interest you and have product that you're interested in. And at that, during that weekend, you can try out almost everything. Whereas if you're living on the countryside like Andy does, how long do you have to travel to go to a decent guitar store with some selection?
It'd be 2 hours, just over 2 hours to Vienna, to Klangfarbe.
Yeah, there you go.
If I need something, there's one within 25 minutes, but they're only open a few hours a week because, they're not needed that often. There's also one about half an hour away. But it's a small guitar shop. Exactly, yeah. It's an event. It's part of the hobby that is playing guitar.
Yep.
I think the how it used to be would be to take it back, you'd have the guitars that were available in your area, and I'm talking way back now. Then it would be magazines and marketing that people would read, and they would gain the experience from the marketing adverts or the magazines. Then along came YouTube, and I'm probably missing out a few steps here, but along came YouTube, and you can have an easier connection with the instrument. So part of my job is saying, this neck's quite big, or these pickups seem a little bit harsh, or whatever. And then it's up to the viewer to find a YouTuber that they trust, that they like, and they gel with, that could possibly represent them. But nothing ever replaces holding the instrument or playing through the pedal or amp yourself.
Yep.
But still watch YouTube, because it's great.
Yeah, but this is the thing. I mean, even if you've decided, like you've came to the buying conclusion, and then you just purchase it. So no risk involved. If you don't like it, just send it back.
Yes.
So there's no real need to kind of make a 100% like conscious buying decision, because the risk of actually having to keep the product is basically zero. If you don't like it, you just pack it and send it back. And that's kind of what makes all those kind of very laissez-faire rules, to call that way, or laissez-faire like laws, that make it very easy for the consumer even to to do bad stuff with those rules. They kind of enable people to not even leave the house and still get a pretty good representation of what's going on, and kind of try out stuff and then build an opinion and build some experience on that stuff. So that's why I'm a little bit reluctant to believe that like winter NAMM show is kind of here to stay forever, because nothing is never changing. That the industry and those streams of thoughts, they're always kind of trying to find new ways, finding ways to save money and cut some costs. And if you have to digest increases in raw materials like we see now with 80% wood pricing increase and metal kind of increasing by crazy numbers, at some points you got to cut some costs, and marketing budget's always pretty easy if you just get rid of a booth.
Yeah, I mean, look at how many plug myself. Look at how many YouTube videos you could, or how much YouTube space you could buy for the price of a booth, and look how much magazine you could do. Look how many people you could connect with in a different way. So I'm getting tired now, if I'm honest. I'm probably babbling a little bit, but I had one of those great, amazing things to say, and it came out as "give me money." I'll be interested to hear from the people in chat who's been at the NAMM show. Guys, kind of raise your hands or let us know what your experience was. Was it like I? So I've been to NAMM, only ever working, but I see people there. I see people there that probably don't even play instruments, and they're just there for the experience. Yeah, I mean, it's the same with the German events like Music Messe or Guitar Summit. Well, I know we're running over at the moment, so I won't go too far into it. But Music Messe for me as a guitar player is no longer an option. So that one, I don't know. It's jumped the shark already. It's not doomed because it's still got the pro lighting and pro audio. But if we were to split it into guitar shows, Guitar Summit, for example, covers more needs than Music Messe has done in the last few years. And I think I was at the last one that was really a good idea to be at, 2018. But it's interesting that, damn it, Gibson and Fender pulled out of a lot of shows over in Europe. I don't see them being at Guitar Summit, and they're not at Music Messe. They are at NAMM. They can be represented at the smaller events by the dealers and distributors. And I would argue that for a show to be taken seriously, there have to be a few name brands there. Unless the guitar, like the Holy Grail show, for example, is based around luthiers, or the idea is not to have the big brands there.
Yep. Fully agreed. Without the big brands, a show is worth nothing, and that's just what attracts people, because the brands, they bring artists and they bring the models that people want to see, and that's also what makes it possible for those shows to kind of be able to finance the whole stuff, because usually big companies, they have big booths, and that's what kind of is the backbone of the overall show. The small luthier from Italy or the small luthier from Germany or any other place, you can pay all the bills for the venue and electricians and all that stuff from that. You need the big brands, and just like imagine how big the representations of Gibson and Fender and Ibanez and those brands are at the show. Martin at the NAMM show. It's insane. So it's like, I imagine it like a domino effect. If one of those brands should pull out, let's say Fender or Gibson, what happens? Because then the next big player says, okay, wow, now I'm the sole like big brand. Let's say Fender pulls out, then Gibson. What will Gibson say? Will Mark Agnesi and Cesar, will they and the others, will they say, oh cool, now we're the big player, or will they say, Fender is pulling out maybe for some reason? What's the point? And that's what happened in the past. So I would never say that a show like that's invincible.
I agree. Interestingly, and I'm not saying this because you're here, but Ibanez being represented by Hoshino at the Italian Guitar Show made them very popular because they were possibly the biggest or most well-known brand at the show. There was Orange was there, but they were there with music shops, and Banana Music, as I mentioned earlier, was also showing other brands, Epiphone and Fender and used Fenders and some really cool used stuff, in fact. But Ibanez being there and having such a small booth as well was a very clever move because it was constantly full. So that really worked in their favor. And I think maybe size and commitment to a booth could be decreased, but then could be spread over more shows. But certainly at NAMM, Fender and Gibson are, they're buying huge halls, and it's an event within an event rather than a booth. We had a question I'm just going to answer from Jason, and then I think we're gonna sign off in a minute, unless anyone else has got any more questions. Which is more chaotic, NAMM or the Thomann Flea Market? Two very different events, especially from my side of things. So at NAMM, I'm running around trying to gain content and meet people and keep appointments. At the flea market, I'm trying not to get run over by people trying to buy a €30 Harley Benton. So it's very different. People are ruthless. However, I met some really nice people at both events, and there's a similar kind of feeling of just people enjoying themselves surrounded by instruments. So they're very different, but they share a few parallels as well. I guess I had more fun at the Thomann Flea Market because I kind of knew where everything was. It wasn't that, I had a little back room I could get to, and NAMM is just insane. It's a marathon, whereas the flea market was a sprint. That sounded like I knew what I was talking about. I'm quite impressed by that. We should probably stop while I'm ahead. So I think we've covered pretty much everything I wanted to cover, and it's been a fun show, Dan, because it's not like we had a show, we had a topic, and we needed to talk about something. I feel we've reached a point at which we've actually discussed it and not solved an issue or anything, but certainly I know where my passions lie now, and I didn't at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, I think it's like a good bridge to kind of, just stop here and see, okay, everything is kind of restarting, and I think at least for me and you, like the first, you've been in Italy, but the first event with a lot of people that we know and an interaction will be the Gear Street at Hennings, and then we'll see how it goes from there throughout the end of the year and the beginning of next year. But it was interesting to get the reactions, and I'm super glad that we had like steadily like 50, 60 people in live streaming and in the chat, kind of giving us a lot of very interesting, constructive reactions. And I'd love to get all those people in the chat and all the guys from the channel into one place where we could just meet for a weekend, the GeekCon.
Well, I'll tell you what, my house is super vacuumed now, so they'll all be welcome for the next sort of 2 to 3 hours, because the floor is super clean, I guarantee it. Nervous laughter. I'd love to do an event. Austria is a beautiful country, and if it were ever possible, it would be great. But let's see what we can do. Even to have 10 people would be amazing. And sorry, we just got Valeria, GeekCon 2022, and Geek Street from Serang. I love that. I have some very cool neighbors, so yeah, Valeria starts swimming. Road to Geek. Oh my goodness! No, don't make this a thing because it sounds expensive. I need some sponsorship. I need to somehow make mine cheaper than Henning's event, but also I make more money than Henning's event. I've got a pool. Does that help?
Oh, definitely.
I've got
And
a
also,
pool.
I mean, being in Austria is definitely a big plus.
Really?
No, your countryside is beautiful.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if you were being facetious. I wasn't sure if you were taking the
No.
piss.
No, no sarcasm at all. I love Austria.
Okay.
You've got Mozart chocolate. You've got, the mountains. You've
Carry
got
on, yeah,
beautiful
keep going.
lakes.
Yeah,
It's
Bergkäse.
there. Yeah.
Bergkäse, we've got hiking. I could hike up a mountain with you guys. That'd be amazing. All right, it's happening. But it's going to happen virtually, and I'm going to go against everything I've said in this show.
The virtual GeekCon.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, okay. Well, it's nice to know it's wanted by a good dozen people. That makes me happy. Dan, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I've really enjoyed chatting with you, man. And also, I'm fired up for meeting you in person at Gear Street. I almost said Geek Street.
Yeah.
Man. I'm going to get Geek Street t-shirts made for August. Come to Geek Street 2025.
You just like do a one-on-one copy of Henning's motive, but you just change it to Geek Street.
Actually, there's a rude version which I will send you a JPEG of later on at some point, but that should
All
not
right.
be shared outside of our friendship. Yeah, so I'm super fired up. The Italian Guitar Show fired me up for the rest of, the year. I'm so excited to get further fired up by going to Henning's event and meeting people like, Adam from Hot Pole Studios, if he can make it, and your good self. And of course Henning, Leslie, and Hiltrud, and the dogs, and writing another song about it. So, yeah.
All right.
Right.
Let's do the poll about the style for the
Hang on, then.
title song.
I think I can do that on Google in the chat before we love you and leave you. Can I do it in yeah, I can create a poll. What style should 42 Gear Street 3, or it's called Tree, what style should the theme tune be? Question mark. Name me some, let's say dubstep, start off on a good one. Country?
Sub rock. I want sub rock.
Sub rock.
What about hip hop? Oh, symphonic metal.
Not a good enough guitar player.
Jazz.
Oh, we can only have 4 options.
Oh no.
In that case,
Okay, then we've got to.
This poll's a pile of poo. Then bluegrass will go home. Symphonic metal, dubstep. Right, Michiel. Sorry, Michiel is obviously on that list because he is the most important person that I should be meeting at Gear Street. I didn't think you were still here, Michiel. I'm sorry. I'll text you personally.
Oh, punk.
Style-
Punk would also be nice.
Punk, yeah. Acoustic death metal. I mean, Poo Ninja owns that genre, so I don't know why I'd try. Olympic. K-pop. Death metal. Big muff only. More cowbell. Punk, yeah. Polka. I think last year's was kind of polka-ish.
Yeah.
I don't want to be named like a one-trick pony, but only be able to do Schlager polka stuff. Bluegrass from April because April's an actual hillbilly. Right, I'll yeah. Disco. Oh my goodness, I think we might have a winner. Oh, I'm so excited by the thought of doing a disco track just because of the DGs and everything.
Ooh.
We've got a strong contender. Okay, disco.
Yep.
And also, would you like to know the soundtrack for when we were in the bus see if you can guess the soundtrack, Dan, in the bus for the Italy trip. See if you can guess. What band did we feature mostly or almost solely on the Italy trip? 3 guesses.
Oh, Modern Talking?
Nope.
Give me one more hint.
Disco.
ABBA.
Kind of close, but it was they were all male. And they liked
Bee Gees.
costumes. And they liked costumes.
All male? No, not the Bee Gees? No. Kiss.
No, it's not disco. They did wear costumes.
I don't know.
Only one of them was gay.
Oh boy.
The Village People, Valeria. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, we listened to the Village People pretty much exclusively. It was brilliant. Turns out they've only got one rhythm. Their drummer is very limited.
But
in
hold
the
them back
style of the
from
Village
writing
People-
millions of... They're selling
Yeah.
millions of records and writing hit songs, right?
Absolutely. There's some bangers, absolute bangers, but also some pretty strong misses as well. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to call it a day because I
Yep.
want to play guitar. If I'm honest, I can see you holding one right there, and it's frustrating me. Oh, it's the tone coming out of those fingers. They're on fire. Thank you ever so much for the people that joined us in the chat. I'm glad you had fun. Dan now should probably ask people to give us 5 stars. That's what we say at this point, right?
Yeah, give us 5 stars on iTunes to make sure that this show pops up on your iTunes stream and we get more listeners and we grow and get some sponsors, because otherwise we can't afford a new pair of glasses and coffee at the same time. So
Yeah,
it's
see?
either or.
It's broken.
Yeah.
But I bet that fooled
So you have
most
to
people.
choose?
And look at that.
It looks
Thank-
pretty fresh with the fro. You don't even see it. It looks like a fashion item.
Well, I'm getting a haircut. Big news! Getting a haircut in the morning, so that might not be possible. All right, love you, everybody. Thank you for having us, and yeah, go to guitar events. Support your local guitar event, so they don't fail.
Yeah.
Is that good
Be kind to each other, play your guitar, and see you next week. I think for the last... Is that the last episode before the break? I think so.
It is, yeah. We're going to have a little
Yeah,
break,
yeah.
and we're going to come back with some aches. And we're going to bring back guests from the first 2 seasons in Season 3. That's what absolutely we have to do. We've already decided that. So take care. Dale is in at the end. Thank you, Dale. Dale is also always in at the end. I'm having windy pops, so I'm going to press the ending button. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Guitar Stories Podcast, your #1 show for everything guitar.